Etwas
Jerusalem has just whispered something the world isn't ready to hear, not through speeches or sirens, but through a quiet gathering beneath the ancient stones of the Western Wall. There, a council long thought extinct stood once more, the Sanhedrin. Before we continue, subscribe for more discoveries where faith meets archaeology, and don't forget to turn on notifications for our next revelation from the Holy Land. After 2,000 years of silence, they made a declaration that could alter the path of prophecy itself. The cameras missed it. The headlines ignored it. Yet the echo of that moment still trembled through the air, like a signal carried on sacred dust. For those who understand prophecy, this isn't rumor, it's alignment. Something ancient has awakened, and the countdown has begun. Stay with this moment, because the next words from Jerusalem could redefine history. Jerusalem never sleeps. In daylight, the city hums with pilgrims and politics. But somewhere behind the marketplace noise and the blinding camera lights, a quieter clock keeps ticking. It's the rhythm of prophecy, steady, old, and waiting. While the world scrolls through gossip and elections, a handful of rabbis have set their eyes on something larger than governments, the restoration of sacred order. Their dream? To see worship return where it once burned bright. They're not building yet, not with stone and mortar, but with intent. Declarations, plans, ritual readiness. And with every quiet decision made at that wall, another grain of time slides downward in prophecy's hourglass. The question isn't if the temple will rise again, it's how soon. Long before headlines and politics, there was the council. 71 elders, scribes, and judges who stood as the soul of Israel's law, the Sanhedrin. In its chambers, questions of faith and national destiny were decided. It was this same council that once confronted miracles in dusty streets, that heard whispers of a teacher from Nazareth, and debated the shape of truth itself. Then came 70 A.D., Rome's legions, the fire, the fall of the temple. Jerusalem scattered to the four winds, and the Sanhedrin vanished into memory, as if the heartbeat of order had stopped. For almost 2,000 years, no council, no court, no single voice united the faith of a broken nation. Until now. Because in our generation, that silence has cracked open once more. In Jerusalem, revivals are rarely political. They're prophetic. The Sanhedrin's reappearance isn't just another religious meeting. It's a mirror reflecting words written thousands of years ago. Prophets spoke of scattered bones coming alive, of lost authority returning before history's final storm. So when 71 voices speak again from the shadow of the mount, they echo both tradition and destiny. Each declaration ripples outward, linking temples past with the unfathomable future promised in Scripture. For believers watching closely, it feels less like coincidence, more like choreography, prophecy breathing through human acts. Something once buried beneath rubble is finding rhythm again. The blueprint of the ages is being traced by living hands. And somewhere in that design waits a structure the world still fears to name. Behind narrow Jerusalem streets, an institute works in silence, but with purpose. Golden vessels gleam under workshop lights, exact replicas of those once used in the temple, the menorah, the silver trumpets, the altar waiting for fire. Tailors weave priestly garments by hand, blue and scarlet threads crossing like prayers. And in small desert fields, red calves are raised under strict watch, their color untouched, their lives guarded as if history depends on them. To outsiders, these are curiosities, museum pieces. To the faithful, they're puzzle pieces of destiny. Every artifact completed, every ritual rehearsed, pushes the prophecy from someday toward soon. The spiritual stage is built, only permission is missing. And once that final barrier falls, the foundation stones may follow. Every prophecy has a tempo. This one began in the smoke of 70 AD when Rome crushed
Etwas
Jerusalem
außergewöhnliches.
and silence fell where songs once rose. Centuries later, against all odds, a nation returned. In 1948, Israel breathed again. In 1967, Jerusalem came back into its hands. Each milestone felt like a page turning in an ancient script no empire could erase. Now, with the Sanhedrin revived and preparations underway, another line is about to be read aloud. Prophecy moves in steps. Destruction, dispersion, return, restoration, and finally, readiness. That final word trembles on the edge of the present moment. Every decade tightens the coil. Every declaration winds the mechanism. The prophetic clock doesn't stop. It only accelerates. And its hands are pointing straight toward the Temple Mount. To one people, the preparations in Jerusalem are a homecoming. Every vessel restored, every robe sewn, rings with promise, proof that God's covenant endures. For Jewish hearts, the rising temple would mean fulfillment, divine presence returning, redemption finally visible in stone. But through the lens of Christian prophecy, the same event carries another melody, familiar but haunting. Scripture warns that before true peace comes, imitation will rise first, a leader of charm and lies, a covenant of 7 years, a promise that fractures midway through. The same altar built for worship becomes the stage for betrayal. One city, two hopes, one vision of glory, one of tribulation, and yet both, somehow, written into the same divine story. The tremors in Jerusalem don't stop at its borders. Every prophecy there sends ripples across oceans and headlines. A nation revived after 2 millennia, a city reclaimed, deserts blooming, languages reborn, digital voices carrying scripture to every nation, each event a thread tightening the same tapestry. Technology rises, knowledge multiplies faster than any generation imagined. Nations debate Israel's existence, alliances fracture over her name. It's all written, bones to flesh, land restored, truth proclaimed to the ends of the earth. The convergence isn't hidden. It's broadcast daily in data and war and wonder. History feels faster now because prophecy is moving in real time. And as every piece finds its place, one last element waits to lock in, the flashpoint where human ambition and divine plan collide. According to ancient words, peace will come, but it will not last. A figure will rise, promising what nations crave, order, unity, calm in the storm. He'll speak of rebuilding and reconciliation, and for a brief season the world will believe him. The temple may stand again, its courts filled with worship. Then comes the turn, the breaking of the covenant, the silencing of sacrifice. Prophecy calls him the deceiver, lawless yet adored. Everything that looked like restoration will shift to revelation, exposing motives of men and hearts of nations. This is the great test, faith refined in fire, truth separated from imitation. And as deception reaches its height, another signal begins to stir, the approach of the true king, behind the storm. Every sign that Scripture once whispered now echoes in open air. The city of prophecy stirs while the world argues below its walls. From the Sanhedrin's chamber to the glint of the golden vessels, every piece stands ready, waiting for a signal no one can schedule. The shadows deepen, but the horizon brightens faintly, first light before revelation. Some call it coincidence, others call it countdown. All that remains is a moment, one decree, one spark, one unseen hour that will tip the age from waiting to fulfillment. Jerusalem stands poised between memory and destiny, its stones heavy with unfinished words. And as the last grain of time slides through prophecy's glass, one truth hums beneath the silence. The dawn is closer than anyone dares to believe.